Hey Track Gang, what's going on in this week's episode of the Boeville in Newtown? Well, it's right over here. Stand by and we'll get into what's happening this week. Afternoon, evening, good morning, whatever it is in your neck of the woods. Track Gang, welcome to episode 39 and the final one for 2023. It happens to be the 28th of December. It's a little bit after Christmas, obviously. It's 4 days after Christmas. I think it's the 28th. Yeah, it's the 28th. Had a look. I've been on vacation. First thing before I get into this episode, I want to apologize to all my subs and those that have reached out to me over the past week or so. The holidays for me are a bit insane. Couple of things. Number one, it's a time for reflection and remembering those that aren't at the table at the holidays anymore. Like I said, I hate to keep rehashing this, but for those that may not be aware, the mid to late 90s were not very kind to my family. I lost 3 grandparents and my father over the span of 5 years. So, like I said, the holidays for me are a little strange, I guess, and there's nothing wrong with it. I've just been radio silent on social media. I haven't even been keeping up with the Facebook page, and I apologize for that. I haven't been keeping up with the Patreon side. I apologize for that. And like I said, I've gotten text messages, emails, all sorts of stuff, and I really do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody reaching out, and I thank you. And to those that did, Merry belated Christmas, Happy Holidays, however it is that you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate, that's fine too. Like I said, today is Thursday the 28th. There was something that I was supposed to do today, and unfortunately, what happened was the fellow that I was supposed to meet up with, a friend of his lost a relative over the holiday, and he had to reschedule, to which we haven't rescheduled yet. And I'm going to get into exactly what that was supposed to be here in a minute. So actually, I'm going to stop the camera for a minute, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at one of my Christmas presents. So I should have had this on before I started the camera, but I didn't. This is probably an indication as to what's going on. So let's go ahead and swing over here to the table, and I will try to go over what exactly it is that my daughter surprised me with over the Christmas holiday. On the table here, you see a theme going on here, right? Back in October, Stella Maris had their crab feast. And of course, there's donations that are made, so on and so forth. And you can bid on things that are donated. Well, one of the things that was donated was a motorman for a day down at the streetcar museum, the Baltimore Streetcar Museum. Now, like I said, the fellow, Chris, that was supposed to be doing this with me today, like I said, had a change in plans. But what we've got here are some notepads. I've got a magnet that says I'd rather be riding a streetcar. We've got the Baltimore Transit Company book, and this is by Father Kevin Mueller, and he was supposed to be down there as well, and he was going to sign this for me. I don't know if that's actually going to happen at some point in the future, but we will see. The other things here, we have a early history of the Baltimore Streetcar Company, or the Streetcar Museum, I'm sorry, 1966 to 1980. And we have a Baltimore's Picturesque Jerkworks. I haven't actually gone through these books yet, but they look rather interesting. Now, one of the other things, and of course the Sidetrack Sunday crew is kind of aware of this, I was talking about the possibility that I'm going to be doing some work on a different scale. Well, there is also a Lionel streetcar. I'm thinking about getting some track and a power pack, and I'm thinking about in the future that may end up going around the Christmas tree. We'll see what happens with that. Don't hold your breath on that one. I've got enough work to do down here. So that was one of my Christmas presents. That was from my daughter. Along with, of course, we had seen before Christmas, we had gone down to the Baltimore Arena, or what I will always know as the Baltimore Arena, and we saw the Pentatonics Christmas show. Now, if you're not familiar with PTX, as they are commonly sort of known as, or short term, they are an a cappella group. They won the first season of the Sing-Off, and I've been following them since then. I believe that was in 2010. They are very good. They do covers of, or actually, I wouldn't even say covers. They put their own spin on classics and things of that nature. And I'm going to swing back up here because I'm talking and the camera is not on me. Hey, there we go. So that was the other part of the Christmas present. I also got a filing cabinet for down here for all my work paperwork, since this is now my office, and I was running out of space to throw paperwork. So at any rate, let's go over to the other reason why we're on camera. We'll be right back. Okay, so before Christmas, my daughter and I were sitting here discussing the dam scene again. And I think I've talked about this, and I really didn't show a whole lot of what went into this. I'm going to show where we're at with this. But one of the things was I want to paint the dam face. And of course, as you know, I've got two different color grays. I've got an armory gray and a dark gray, I think is what it, I don't remember the name on the paints off the top of my head. I should have done that before I started, and I didn't. So the other thing was the dam over at Loch Raven has expansion joint, well, not expansion joints, but they have creases in it. And I was thinking, okay, how am I going to do that? I don't think a Sharpie would work because it's on wood. It's going to bleed. It's not going to look right. So my daughter and her wonderful thoughts came up with the idea of going ahead and etching the wood, basically with a soldering iron or something of the like, to which I tried. I tried painting first, I had a couple pieces of scrap, so I painted them, and I tried putting pencil and etching first and then painting over top of it, which did not work. And then I tried just painting and then coming back and doing that work. So let me go ahead and swing the camera down here a second. And you're going to notice that there's a little bit of a change here too, because I was looking at something the other night and realized that there was two problems. Number one, the backdrop didn't meet up with the dam correctly. Number one, there was gaps on either side. So I took that piece of wood out, and it's actually laying around down here someplace. I have no idea what I did with it. Oh, yeah, I know what I did with it. It's right here, which is another issue. I noticed that if let me take that out of there a minute. If I take and put the bridge pier back in here, and if I were to take, I don't want to show these yet, but if I take these and put them next to it, there isn't a whole lot of, for lack of a better term, there isn't a lot of meat here on the base of the pier. So the thoughts are to go ahead and actually raise the base up that 1/8 of an inch and bring this up to where it's going to be a little bit higher. Not a big deal, not a problem. It can be easily done because, like I said, I had that piece in the back that was too small. But even at that, when I put this down here, this is actually not wide enough, obviously, to cover what needs to be covered. So I'm going to have to get another piece of this underlayment to put in here to go ahead and raise this up a little bit for when I actually get to the point of putting the water in here. To which I'm still not exactly sure what I'm going to use for water, but we'll get there eventually. Now, it's probably going to be hard to show on camera, but I did replace, obviously, and I may have talked about this in 38, and if I did, I'm sorry I'm rehashing, but like I said, the last couple of weeks have been an absolute blur. I did have to, because of the fact the way things were laying here, I didn't like it. I went ahead and redid the foam on both sides of the dam, which actually gives the dam or the walls on either side a little bit more structure behind them, which will be a good thing because there was really no structure behind them before. And then I'm going to kind of blend in the foam to that rock face or that stone face, so that way it looks like it belongs, or they look like they belong together. It has presented a couple of minor issues. I have gotten those kind of straightened out, but I still have to do a little bit of work over here, and I've also got to do some finagling here because this is sticking out too much. I still have to do some shaping, which I didn't want to do yet because it makes one mell of a mess. Now, over to the dam face. So, that's the two color grays that I have. And I'm going to have to, pardon my arm, I'm going to have to swing in here a little bit so that you all can see what I'm talking about. Okay. It didn't like that. All right, there we go. So, this was my first attempt. Now, I did etch this, although you can't even see it, with the soldering iron and with a pencil. The paint basically covered it. It didn't do any good. So, second attempt was paint first and etch after. Now, the top line here is actually the soldering iron, and what I've got is I guess it's really a tip for when you cut rope. I don't even know if that's going to show up on camera or not, but yeah, there you go. I just used the edge of it. That worked to a point. Wasn't real happy with that, so what I did on the second line is that is actually a pencil line. Now, it's a little too dark. I went over it one too many times. One of the things that I noticed right off the bat is the fact that that gray, the lighter of the two, is not, even though it's supposed to be a concrete gray, is just way, it's not going to work. It's not, I realize that concrete is actually not concrete gray. Let's put it that way. So, I went to Home Depot this morning, and I went and bought a paint that is called Sandy Pale, P-A-I-L. And we're going to give this a shot and see if it gives me the effect that I'm looking for. Now, before I go too much further, the rock face or the stone face on either side, that will be done in the same color as I did Union Station, which I don't have that paint sitting out here at the moment. But that'll be done in that color, which is a beige. Or that's actually called linen. So that's what I'm going to do that in. So there will be a little bit of a contrast here, which is fine. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to get the painting, the dam face, and see what we get. So we'll be back. Well, it is going to need a second coat, but I got my contrast, although it's a little it's a little lighter than what I expected it to be. But that's not actually a bad thing, I don't think. But in person, you can see the contrast between, because I just did the wall on that left side, that did the wall and the quarter round that I have over there. That's all painted in the what the heck is this? Linen Toil, which is what I used on Union Station. So the edges look good against that dam face. Like I said, the dam face is going to need another coat because it's drying in. Obviously, it was bare wood. I probably should have primered it first. Would have made a lot more sense. But you know, hindsight's 20/20. And of course, when I did the Linen Toil on the rock wall, I did it a little too thin. So I'll have to come back and redo it. But ultimately, that's what I was looking for. That's sort of what I was looking for. Not 100%, but we'll see what happens when it dries real good, and we'll see what happens when we put a second coat on it. Now, I'm not sure exactly how well it's showing up on camera, but to be perfectly honest, that looks a lot better. Now, what I ended up doing is I ended up mixing made a 3-to-1 mix of my Armory Gray and this sand pail to get the color the way I wanted. It was just too yellow. By putting the gray in there, definitely darkened it up, and it's an off gray, which is what I was looking for. Now, I do notice that there is some, I do have to do some touch-up work on the two sides. That's fine. That's not that big of a deal. But the side pieces, they've been painted with that linen, the acrylics, and then this was done with latex. And to be perfectly honest, I think, like I said, I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but looking at it in person, that's a case of the exactlies. That is exactly what I was looking for. I'm impressed. I can't wait to take a look at it once, you know, I get the bridge back in place, but that's going to be another time because I want to get this video out. Like I said, I've got to go ahead and actually, I'm going to use, and I think I mentioned this in the last vlog too, or the last episode, I've got that foam-friendly adhesive. That seems to work really well for holding the foam cord to the foam. So I'm going to try, and in fact, I even did that with the plastic as well. So we're going to see if that's going to hold up. Like I said, now that I've got that nice structure behind there, see if we can get that to actually hold, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to go ahead and swing the camera because it's that time. You all know the deal. Wait for the high ball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch y'all next time. Be safe. God bless. And since it's that close, Happy New Year. Have a healthy and safe 2024. We'll see you.